Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, and thank you for joining us once again, TheModenstersOfGaming. I'm KaijuK, continuing my top 10 lists of my favorite Fakemon from video games that were made by fans. Now, last episode, unfortunately, we only had a top 7, so to make it up with you, I don't know what to do. I'm sorry about that, I just couldn't find enough dragon types to make it better. As you can see, this is going to be the top 10 electric type Fakemon. Now, electric types are normally a type I actually just despise. And I think it has to do with the overuse of Pikachu and the fact that they're all pretty much the same type of Pokemon. Very fast, very heavy hitting, very, very low health and defenses. Of course, some of them are different. For instance, my boy Magneton and Magnezone, that's a different story right there. Those guys are beasts. But I'm going to bring us up with top 10 electric type Fakemon from fan-made games. And we'll just see where this one goes from here. So we're going to start off the list with our number 10. And that will be, of course, Aerivore. Now, Aerivore is not exactly the Pokemon with the best stats. However, you can get him very, very early in, of course, Pokemon Eternal Gardens. Or Ethereal Gardens. Might as well be Eternal. It's taking that long for an update. Anyway, this is an electric flying type with the ability Lightning Rod, which of course gives him a boost every time someone tries to hit him with lightning. And in multi-battles, if they try to use an electric attack, he absorbs it. His Pokédex entry reads, it's one of the fastest Pokemon in the Lenica region. Some say the airplane was modeled after Aerivore. That's pretty cool right there. Now, like I said, statistically, he's not the best. I mean, he's only packing a 442, and once again, as I've complained before, high speed, high special attack, low everything else. However, he helped me through Ethereal Garden, or the short time that you can play it, and he was really a useful Pokemon. He learned some really powerful attacks rather early on, including Discharge, which he, I'm getting ahead of myself here. He's weak to Rock and Ice types, so he doesn't actually have that many weaknesses, and he's just plain immune to Ground and Electric types. Now, what I was originally saying, he does gain access to some moves pretty early in the game, including Air Cutter, which is an awesome flying attack, part of my capabilities. He also learns Discharge level 44, not needing to be bred on it or anything. That's pretty much his bread and butter moves. He's got some other moves that are kind of fun, but I can't really say much. And in Pokemon Ethereal, there really weren't that many TMs and HMs. So as you can see, he can learn Rest, Thief, Thunder Wave, and Cut. Now there's his evolutions from Avinch to Aerivore. There's the cool design, and of course the cool, awesome, shiny design. And down here it says the old art for Avinch from Pokemon Imperial Sky, which was the original, I believe, of what Pokemon Ethereal Gate became, shows that Avinch was supposed to evolve at 18 and then again at 36. Like I said, overall it may not seem impressive, but this is my favorite list, and this guy helped me out at the beginning. Since you can only teach him Lightning Rod, there's not much else to go for. I give him Discharge and Air Cutter for stab, and just a bit of annoyance. Double Team to make it a lot harder to hit him. Mirror Move is sometimes really useful to copy opponents' attacks and smack him with it. And Shell Bell, of course, to heal him, and whenever he does damage. Now, like I said, I like the design too. I mean, he's got a pretty cool swept back design. Looks kind of like a cockatiel almost. But now we get on to the really interesting ones. So goodbye, Aerivore, and hello to Chameleohm. I'm guessing that's Chameleohm. Ohms are a type of electrical card. Anyways, he's a pure electric that learns Analytic and Static. Now, Static is useful, but I prefer Analytic. This causes him to do a lot more damage because, unfortunately, this big boy is slow. And just look at that design. He looks like a dinosaur. He looks like he should be an electric rock type. He is just scary looking. His Pokédex entry reads, by using its ability to manipulate electromagnetic waves, Chameleohm can disrupt the light around it and render itself invisible to the naked eye. It's strange that he doesn't learn moves like Protean or Color Change as his abilities, though. Of course, sorry, he's from Pokemon Sage. I should have brought that up first. Man, I am all kinds of messed up today. Now, statistically, this guy's actually a lot unlike most electric types. He's actually got some pretty good stats other than his defense and speed, which is unusual for an electric type. He's got great health, great attack, amazing special attack for only 515 total, and special defense of 85. Now, statistically, as a pure electric type, he has but one weakness to ground. But then, unlike other electric types, he actually has a way of neutralizing it. Now, his move list, since he's evolved by using a Thunderstone, he doesn't get that much, But he can learn Power Whip, a grass-type attack, and Zap Cannon. Now, below, we'll explain why he has the grass-type moves. There's TMs and HMs, of course. We'll skip over that whole spot right there. He can learn lots. He can, like, Drain Punch, which is pretty cool. I believe I have a puppy sitting outside my door. Give me 2 seconds, folks. I gotta go grab him. I'm gonna start scratching. Get in here. Come on, get in here. A little grunt. Yes, you are. He came in for food. Pardon the Cody. He came in to munch on something. Where was I? Oh yeah. As far as move tutors go, of course, he can learn lots of really cool ones. He can learn Aqua Tail. He can learn Magnet Rise to negate his weakness to Earth types. He can learn Outrage, Signal Punch, Signal Beam, Boo, and Thunder Punch. And through breeding, he can learn really cool ones. Well, I'd say cool ones, but unfortunately, Electro Ball doesn't do him much good. Shadow Sneak's okay. Tail Slap can be pretty cool. And Zap Cannon, of course, is really powerful if you don't mind the 50% accuracy. By his prior evolutions, though, he can learn Feint Attack, Pursuit, Reflect Type, and Thunder Shock. Once again, you can already learn powerful ones. Now here's the cool thing. His original evolved form, Slatic, is so cute. It is. And then he becomes really, really tough looking like Telsalon. But then he comes Chameleohm, and he just looks like a freaking dinosaur. I don't know what happened. He just did a 180 from the cute department. Trivia, Chameleohm was almost an electric grass type due to the leaf-shaped tail that unfurled during its evolutions. That's why it's capable of learning grass-type moves. Its design is based off of Jackson's chameleon. Its hands resemble alligator clips. Yeah, I guess I do. And the name of Chameleohm is a combination of chameleon and ohm, which is a unit of electrical resistance. Now this big boy here can really ruin your day if you're not expecting him. I like to give him the big root item, give him analytics because he's going to be slower. There's no way of fighting that. I like to teach him Discharge for his stab bonus. Then I like to teach him Giga Drain for coverage over Earth types, and Drain Punch because there's a lot of Rock types and Steel types recently. But I definitely give him and use Magnet Rise first to remove his one weakness. He is all kinds of badass. He hits really hard too, trust me, he does. But he's just no comparison to some of the future Pokemon on this list. Next up we have Baboom. Not Baboon, Baboom. Baboom, the Thunderclap Pokemon. He's an electric dark type which has the abilities of Moxie or Adrenaline. I'll explain to you what Adrenaline is. Let's see here. Let's just pop up Adrenaline real quick. Baboom is vicious towards any outsiders. It can build up an electrical charge by rapidly slapping its own rear, which causes thunderous blasts of lightning. The definition is just enough. It's just enough. Now, as for Adrenaline, Adrenaline raises the bearer's speed by 50% when the bearer has half of its maximum HP or less. Which is really cool if you plan on, getting that way, but I just prefer Moxie for the chance of getting the bonus attacks every time I take down an opponent. Now, statistically, a fast attacker, like all of them, 40 total stats. He's weak to fighting, ground, and bug types. He gains access to Bite, Spark, Thunder Fang, Thunder Punch, Crunch, Thunder. And if we go down here to the Move Tutor, this is where he really starts to shine. He gains access to a lot of really cool moves. He can learn Hyper Voice, Fire Punch, Ice Punch, and Thunder Punch. Super Fang, Snore in case you want to give him rest. You can also learn some moves by breeding, including Beat Up, which is an underused move if you combine it with, a King's Rock, Night Slash, and, of course, Superpower. And, of course, he has no evolution. There's no other Pokemon that has the same type combinations of Baboom, well, in this game at least. Baboom is the only dual-type Pokemon to have Electric as its primary, well, in this game, and its design origin, Baboom, is based off of the Shikama Baboon, also known as the Cape Baboon. It is also based off of a mandrill, and its name is a combination of Baboon and the onomatopoeia Boom. Boom, boom, shakalaka boom. I am such a weirdo today. I do not know what's going on with me. So, as you can see, this guy's got some pretty good stats going for him. I would give him Moxie and teach him Crunch and Wild Charge to be his stab bonuses, and to hit pretty hard. Belly Drum, which you can learn. which will boost his attack. Rest combined with a Lumberry to heal him and then get rid of the rest. He's a pretty potent Pokemon, and I could see him really having other abilities, like through like how there's like all the new moves from in the tier 7s from Sun and Moon. I could definitely see him learning some really cool new moves. But we'll have to save that for another day. Like I said, this hasn't been updated in a while. Now, bringing up the next one, we have a Delta Pokemon. Now, Delta Pokemon are Pokemon that were originally used in the game, but were given new typings and such. And the first one up is Delta Gallade. This is Delta Gallade, the Blade Pokemon. He doesn't have a Dex entry because he doesn't need one. He's that badass. But due to its mutation, which is why it's an electric ice, it cannot breed. Now, of course, it comes from Delta Kirlia when used with a Dawnstone. Its special abilities are Volt, Absorb, or Ice Body. And it even has a Mega form, which we'll be using, called Mega Delta Gallade. Blah, blah, blah. So, you guess that he's going to be holding Delta Galladite. Oh, there's his Pokedex entry. Sorry, I mispressed that. Master Swords Fighter. It uses both electric and ice-based attacks to defeat its opponents, a Delta species. Now, statistically, this guy is actually really a cool one. He's got okay speed, low health, defense, and special attack, but he's got great attack and awesome special defense. But when he becomes his Mega form, whoa, he gets a 40-point boost to his attack. He gets a 25-point boost to his defense, which makes it really worth it. And then he gets a 30-point boost to his speed, making him a lot faster, going from 518 to 613. Now, he has a weakness to flying. Oh, sorry, I'm reading that wrong. Sorry, it's a different format. This is from Pokemon Insurgents. He's weak to fighting, ground, rock, and fire types. Now he gains the thing about him is he gains a lot of different coverage moves. He gains grass types, dark types, psychic types, ice types, electric types, normal types. He can learn rock types. And through his prior evolutions, he can learn some pretty cool moves like Calm Mind, Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, Sheer Cold, if you want to go that kind of route. Of course, there's Delta Routes, Delta Kirlia, and then Delta Gallade, his regular form, and then his awesome plasma-covered shiny form. Then there's Mega Evolution and its shiny, awesome plasma form. Now, it won't let me scroll any more down, but the trivia for him is Delta Gallade's attack and special attack are the reverse of Delta Gardevoir. You'll be seeing her later on. Mega Delta Gallade has the highest attack stat of all electric types, as well as all non-legendary ice types. Actually, no, now that I'm thinking about it, you won't be seeing her. I didn't add her to the list. She was one of the ones, well, honorable mention to her. Move-wise, I would give him Volt Absorb and then Volt Absorb again because he's going to become Mega Delta Gallade, as you can see there. I would teach him Icicle Crash and Wild Charge for stab bonuses, Drain Punch for that little bit of extra healing, and then a new move added to this game called Live Wire. Now, what Live Wire is Live Wire is an entry hazard that can be placed on the ground, and if an enemy switches into it, like, say, Stealth Rocks, something happens. Where in this case, it'll paralyze them. It has no effect on flying, electric, or ground-type Pokemon, or anything with the ability Limber, Levitate, or Leaf Guard during intense sunlight. However, a flying or levitating Pokemon will be effective if it is switched in holding an Iron Ball or Gravity is in effect, or if Baton Pass and Ingrain is there. So there's lots of ways for it to happen, and of course you can get rid of it like the regular one, such as Rapid Spin and Defog. And in the event that both Live Wire and Toxic Spikes are on the field, the Pokemon switched in is capable of being affected by both. The Pokemon will first be poisoned before having its status immediately overwritten to paralysis, regardless of the order. So this one trumps Toxic Spikes. So if you're going to use Toxic Spikes, don't use it along the way. That's Delta Gallade. He's a pretty powerhouse. He'll hit pretty hard, and he can survive a few rounds. Now, the next one, unfortunately, doesn't have a picture because I couldn't find one from, but this is Blitziboom. As you can see in the little corner up here, this is his little picture. He's pretty adorable on screen. This guy comes from Pokemon Solar Light and Lunar Dark, and he is an electric fire type. He has access to Cloud9, cool move, Levitate, awesome move, Anticipation, why would you want that as a hidden ability? Ooh, I see my opponent's about to smack the crap out of me. I never understood that move. I never understood moves like Frisk or Forewarn. I never understood those abilities. So, there's no Pokedex entry. See, it says right there. See, no entry yet. And he evolves from Blitziglow. Now, statistically, once again, he follows the standard electric type pool, except this time he's really got some great special defense. Speed's good, special attack is great, defense and attack suck, and HP is okay. He's weak to rock and water types as long as you give him levitate. Of course, if you take away levitate, he has a weakness to ground types. The move pool for him is actually quite small, but he gains access to moves like Incinerate, Charge, Flame Burst, Thunderbolt, Cosmic Power to give him some good defense, Fireworks, which I'll explain to you later, and even Dazzling Gleam. Gleam. I am all kinds of tongue-tied today. Through the move tutor, he gains access to some cool moves. He can learn Air Cutter and Bounce. So he actually can learn flying-type moves. Magnet Rise, of course, to protect him. Pain Split for a little bit of health regen in case you time it properly. And even a fighting move like Vacuum Wave. Now, the only picture you can see here is uninformed Blitzy. Then it goes to Blitzaglow and Blitziboom, which unfortunately don't have any pictures, so that sucks. Blitziboom is an evolutionary line to have a unique type combination, not counting alternate forms. Its alternate forms were counted. Heat Rotom is the only other electric fire-type Pokemon in the game. Well, other than other Fakemon. Blitziboom is based off of a firework, and Blitziboom's combination is of the words Blitz and Boom. I didn't see that one coming. Now, with how Blitziboom plays, he is not going to survive very long thanks to his defense. However, with access to some pretty powerful attacks and Magnet Rise... Wait, why did I give him Magnet Rise? I meant to give him Cosmic Power, sorry. I wrote down the wrong thing, folks. Give me 2 seconds to fix that. I'm a perfectionist when it comes to this thing. Ugh. Sorry, anyways. So you give him Levitate so he doesn't need access to Magnet Rise. Also give him access to 2 moves that can only be learned in Sage. The first one being Lightning Strike. This move has a power of 75, an accuracy of 100, and has a 10% chance of confusing the opponent. This is actually a really cool move, and it's actually hit quite a few times. Like, it says 10%, but I think that might be wrong. So I've hit several Pokemon in a row with Lightning Strike, only to confuse them each time. The other move I teach him is Fireworks. Now, Fireworks is a fire-type attack with power of 70, accuracy of 100, and what this thing does is it deals a 10% chance to paralyze a foe, but if it's used on flying-type Pokemon, it ignores the type effectiveness of this move and automatically makes it super effective. What this basically means is, unless the Pokemon is, it has like not Flame Body, is it Flame Body? Yeah, Flame Body, I think it is. The Flash Fire. Unless the Pokemon has Flash Fire and is a flying type, it will always be a super effective move against it. That's pretty big, because that means any flying type goes against Blitziboom is going to get hit hard, except for Mega Rayquaza. And of course, the reason it won't get hit off is because it gets rid of all weaknesses to flying type moves. On top of that, I would also teach him Energy Ball. Now, Energy Ball is a grass-type move which takes out his 2 weaknesses to rock and water types. So if they come out in the field, they're getting hit by a pretty high special attack. Add Cosmic Power to give him some survivability, and Shell Bell to heal him every time he attacks. Yes, the mighty Shell Bell. And you can see why Blitziboom is actually an awesome Electric-type Pokemon. However, then there's also the next one, which is Stenowatt. Oh, hello, Stenowatt. How you doing, buddy? Stenowatt, the Raptor Pokemon. He just looks so cool. Pure Electric. Its Pokedex entry is: it flaps its wings to generate electricity, which it stores in its tail. It channels the stored energy into its legs to run faster. So that's pretty cool, and as you can see, he's kind of the representation of what many people think dinosaurs now are supposed to look like. Honestly, they haven't found enough evidence to prove that dinosaurs had feathers, so I don't fully believe all dinosaurs had feathers. This is coming from a guy who originally wanted to be an archaeologist. Now, the first thing you got to notice is his move types. He has Motor Drive, awesome ability, which increases his speed if he's hit by an Electric-type move. Speed Boost, which increases his speed every turn. But then he has Acceleration. And what Acceleration is a special attack only from Pokemon Uranium, which is he from. What it does is it boosts the damage of priority moves by 1.5. Now, priority moves are moves that automatically hit first. And these moves include moves like Quick Attack, Sudden Strike from Pokemon Uranium, Aqua Jet Flame Impact from Pokemon Uranium, Feint Instant Crush from Pokemon Uranium, but of course, Extreme Speed. 100 with a base power of 80, it can hit really, really freaking hard at 120 damage. Yeah, right? Yeah, 120 damage. That being said, let's check out what Stenowatt is capable of. Statistically, he's not the best. He's got pretty plain Jane stats all over, except for the speed at 110. He's only weak to ground-type moves and nuclear, but we're not going to get into that one. And he does gain access to a large supply of attacks. These, of course, include things like Charge Beam in case you want to make him a special attacker. As you saw, his stats are pretty hit and miss in any direction. He can also learn Spark, he can learn Charge, he can learn Quick Attack, which is his early on move. He can learn Wild Charge, Extreme Speed at 41, and Tail Glow as well. By Move Tutor, he gains access to moves like Foul Play, he can learn Thunder Fang, he can learn Nasty Plot, and through breeding, he can learn pretty cool moves. He can learn Caustic Breath, which, as everyone knows, is my favorite Dragon-type Fakemon move. He can also learn Knock Off, probably one of my favorite Dark-type moves, and Flame Impact. Now, Flame Impact is important, so I'll bring that up right now. Flame Impact is basically quick attack for fire types with a power of 65. That means you hit hard, you hit fast, and thanks to the move Acceleration, you hit for a lot more. Now, that being said... Oh yeah, sorry. Let's keep bringing it down. As you can see, this is his appearance. His shiny is actually really dull, but he's still a cool Pokemon. Stenowatt is one of 7 Pokemon with animated sprites, along with Metalix, Psychmater, Raptorch, Archilles, Electrolux, and Urine. He takes inspiration from many species of Manor Raptroid dinosaurs. And his name origin, Stenowatt, comes from Stenoachosaurus, a now debunked name for the Manor Raptroid dinosaur Troodon, and Watt, a unit of measure that measures the energy conversion or transfer of respected time. Now, with that all out of the way, let's get to the fun stuff. Stenowatt can be used pretty powerfully, especially if you give him the almighty Shell Bell. Teaching him Sword Dance will give him a quick boost to his attack power, Wild Charge for stab bonus or electric attacks, Extreme Speed for that extra hit, and against Pokemon that are weak to it, Flame Impact, which does boosted fire damage thanks to Acceleration. Sorry, my puppy wants to be coddled at the moment, and it is driving me insane. Are you happy now, Cody? Are you happy? Yes, you are. Alright. Coming up next on the list is Hummzap. Now, Hummzap's this tiny little hummingbird Pokemon. It has almost no weight behind it. It can learn Speed Boost and Inner Focus, and it is an electric flying type. Now, what changes this guy is, of course, statistics. Once again, high speed, but he has great attack and special attack as well. This means that he can cover a lot of bases, do a lot of damage to no matter what type you want to play him as. Do you want him to be a special attacker? He'll be a special attacker. Do you want him to be a pure attacker? He can be a pure attacker. Or you can make him a mixed breed. Statistically, he's only weak to rock and ice types, which in itself isn't that bad. His move list, on the other hand, it's a bit lacking in powerful attacks. I mean, he can learn moves like Drill Peck, he can learn moves like Sucker Punch, and he can learn cool things. He can learn like Draining Kiss, which is one of my favorite fairy type moves. He can learn Parabolic Charge. Via Move Tutor, he can learn Air Cutter, which is really powerful. He can also learn Tailwind, which can really boost your team. There's his unevolved form, which is Hummzing, which at first, when I first saw it, I thought it was a grass flying type. It was like a little grape, it looks like. And Hummzap is based on the hummingbird, and Hummzap's name is a combination of the word hummingbird and zap. Kind of put that one together, folks. With access to moves like Speed Boost and Inner Focus, his Pokedex entry reads, whenever Hummzap flaps its wings rapidly, it can cause an electrical current that can make a loud buzzing noise. You really don't need to give him anything. Inner Focus can give him a bit of a boost in case it gets flinched, but Speed Boost is basically what you want to give him. Add a weakness policy to him to give him a boost to a special attack in case he takes a hit. I like to give him a Parabolic Charge and Pluck for his stab moves. Now, Pluck is an underutilized move. A lot of Pokemon like to use berries, and Pluck can just steal them off them right away, ruining a lot of plans. Also, in Pokemon Solar Light and Lunar Dark, some Pokemon actually have berries on them naturally. I like to give him Draining Kiss as well for even more healing, because Parabolic Charge heals as well. And Mud Slap, which is just a good move all around to lower accuracy and do a little bit of damage against opponents that you might not be able to do much damage against. I like his cute design. I just like him as a general. I don't know why. I've always been a fan of hummingbirds. I guess that's why I put him on the list, basically. He's still a really good Pokemon. I mean, if you ever get a chance to play Pokemon Lunar Light and Solar Dark, which I suggest you do, please, give him a roll, give him a play. Next up we have is Theriamp. Now, Theriamp is a is Pokemon Nuclear's one of Pokemon Nuclear's fossil Pokemon. He's the giant sloth Pokemon. Electric Rock type. His Pokedex entry reads: an ancient Pokemon known for its lightning-fast strikes. It used its incredibly sharp claws to shave the bark off of trees. That's pretty cool. He has the moves Motor Drive, Rock Head, but he also has the move Energizate. Energizate. Man, I'm not even sure if I said that right. But what this move does is, like what Aerial Light would do, it's normal type moves become electric type moves and receive a 1.3 boost to their base power, in addition to stab. So, if you use this on, say, a Body Slam, it gets a boost to damage, and since it became electric, it becomes a stab type move. Going throughout the list, statistically, he's got some really high stats in special defense, speed, and definitely attack. But he's got baseline everything else, so once again, he's like most electrics, he's not going to take a hit very well. His weaknesses are to fighting, water, grass, and ground. One of those being water, you don't really have to worry about much, because you do have electric type attacks to counteract them. Move-wise, he's not packing a lot. As you can see, he gains access to moves like Body Slam, Volt Switch, Wild Charge, and Rock Wrecker. With his prior evolution, give it a few rounds and you can teach it Zap Cannon or Head Smash. By Move Tutor, you can learn Helping Hand, which I've had people use against me in duel battles. It's pretty useful sometimes. Crunch, Iron Head, Super Power, Knock Off, Drill Run, Earth Power, Fire Punch, and Ice Punch. And Thunder Punch. And strangely enough, he learns Dual Chop, but I guess with them big old claws, he was due to learn it anyway. He can also learn Discharge, Yawn, and Smackdown, although his special attack stat for moves like Discharge is non-existent. There's his original form, which is Slotham, and then there's Theriamp to the right. And this is his sprites, and his really, really cool, like, if you look at his hand, it looks like he's got a skull coming out of his hand. It's pretty awesome looking claws. It was originally intended to make the fossil the player didn't choose available after completing the Tandor Championship. His design origin is based off of Megatherium, which was a genus of elephant-sized ground sloths. They were huge, I believe like 18, 20 foot tall, huge, massive claws on their feet, but they were plant eaters. They probably used the claws to scare them. As well as electrical outlets, specifically those manufactured in the US of A, Canada, and Mexico. And his name is a combination of Megatherium and Therion, Greek for beast, and Ampere, which is a unit of electrical current measurement. He comes from the hair fossil, as you can see down here, where the tusk fossil brings out Snowpatch and Diamifrost, and the gold fossil brings out Jungor and Monjangold, which unfortunately that was the one I picked when I played Pokemon Uranium the first time. So I didn't get a chance to play as this guy, but how I would set him up is I would definitely give him Energizate. Energizate? I'm going to call it Energizate. I would teach him Body Slam for coverage, Stone's Edge, or Body Slam to use Energizate for coverage for his stab, Stone Edge for useful stab damage, Knock Off to keep your opponent from using stupid things like rocky helmets and such, Sword Dance to boost his already considerable attack. I just realized that his hand isn't a picture of a skull, it's a picture of an outlet. I'm an idiot. And a Shell Bell to heal it off. He may not be very sturdy, but he can hit hard, and that's what you kind of want half the time. Next up is another Delta Pokemon, and the second place, of course, it is Delta Weezing. Now, Delta Weezing is an electric flying type instead of just a pure poison type, who can learn Cloud9 and Amplifier. Amplifier, of course, if you remember our Dragon types, Amplifier is a move that boosts sound-based attacks by 1.5. He also gains access to Volt Absorb. His Pokedex entry reads, its sound it makes when dispensing electricity has been compared to thunder strikes nearby. And of course, instead of him having extra faces, he has a picture of, I believe it's called a dolly drum. I'll have to look that one up, which is often seen by thunder gods in Asian mythologies. Now, statistically, this guy actually has some pretty good stats, especially to the defense. He's got pretty good attack, pretty good special attack, pretty good defense, and pretty good attack with only HP and speed failing him, which you can boost with, of course, EV training. He's immune to ground, he's weak to rock and ice types. Actually, I know a lot of these Pokemon are electric flying types. Maybe I just gotta think because Zapdos was my favorite of the legendary birds. Oh man, that could be a thing. However, he does gain access to moves like Belly Drum, he gains access to Snarl, he gains access to Bounce, which is one of my favorite flying type moves, Acrobatics, Hyper Voice, Hurricane Thunder, and of course Boom Burst, which is a devastating ability, especially thanks to Amplifier. Now, of course, there's his unevolved form Delta Coughing, there's his front, there's his back, and it says Delta Weezing has the highest defense of all non-Mega Evolved, non-legendary Electric-type Pokemon. Well, so far, I haven't seen any others that might have a better defense, but I always liked Weezing. Weezing was a tank and could learn a lot of abilities, and Delta Weezing is no exception. I know that in the Pokemon TV show they kind of had him off as a joke character, but when I had Weezing in my team when I was playing the original game, he helped me dominate the Elite Four. Him, my Gyarados, and my level 255 Aerodactyl, which I got by accident by forming a cheat to get Missingo and then gave Missingo a rare candy. Yeah, that was always fun. Statistically, I would give him Leftovers instead of Shell Bell because he's already got ample defense. I would give him Amplifier. I would teach him Thunderbolt and Bounce for stab and chance of paralyzing, Boom Burst for its bonus damage, and the fact that, well, face facts, it's already one of the most powerful normal type moves in the game. Give it a little bit more from Amplifier, it hits like a truck. And Snarl, I just always liked Snarl. It's another one of those underutilized dark type moves, and it gives him a bit of coverage against opponents who aren't ready for it. Since he can cover such a wide gambit, he's actually a really cool Pokemon. Like I said, with electric, flying, ice, dark, grass, water, fire. He can cover a lot of different categories, and he just is just a cool looking Pokemon. I mean, just take a look at that. But all good things must come to an end, and I must bring to you to the final one, my favorite of the electric types. Now, I could have had this guy be one of the best of the dragon types, but I already had my sight on him being electric due to all of his special abilities. So I bring you Yatagaryu. I do not have the best pronunciation today, guys. I'm sorry, Yatagaryu. He's the Stormbringer Pokemon. His special ability is Stormbringer. His Pokedex entry says a fearsome Pokemon told of legends has the power to summon thunderstorms at will. Electric Dragon. Now let's start off by his design. That is a cool design. It seems to be a mixture of avian descent and maybe a cockatrice design and Asian dragon design and thunderhorns. He just looks really, really cool. His special ability, Stormbringer, which is only used by Yatagaryu, calls forth a thunderstorm when the bearer is sent out, which lasts 5 turns. Now I know what you're saying. What is a thunderstorm? Well, it's a new move that you can get in Pokemon Uranium. Thunderstorm is a new weather condition that can be brought by the move Thunderstorm or the ability of Stormbringer. Non-electric and ground-type Pokemon are struck by lightning at the end of every odd-numbered turn. Pokemon with Motor Drive, Volt Absorb, Lightning Rod, or Magical Guard, as well as Pokemon that are in the process of semi-invulnerable moves, are exempt from taking this damage. The damage taken is based on the Pokemon's type matchup with electric type, and it's calculated as per following. Okay, well, this is a lot of scientific mumbo-jumbo for you, but basically, the target's total HP times the effectiveness of the electrical attack divided by 8. In short, if they have a 4x weakness and they're struck by a lightning bolt, they're going to take 50% of their health as damage. 2 times is going to be 25%. If they're just regular, it's going to be 12.5% of their weakness. If they're half as weak, it's 6.25. And finally, if they're only a quarter weak, it still takes 3% of their health. Also, the move Thunder will never miss while it's using, and electric-type moves get a 50% power boost. So, as you can see, this is just like the ultimate electric-type boost. It is a great move, and he brings it out for free. Now, going through his statistics, as you can imagine, as a dragon, he's popping everything good. However, it's that speed and special attack of the electric types that really bring him to the field. 120 speed and 130 special attack. However, he is weak to a few types, ground, ice, dragon, and fairy. But that's not so bad when you have a lightning bolt dropping down 3 rounds out of 5. He's pretty cool. I guess you could always swap him in and out to keep the storm up. Because unlike other ones like the harsh light from, like, say, someone using drought, This one actually states that it lasts 5 turns. So you switch him in, and then you can switch another electric type out to it. Or a ground type. Now, he learns a lot of cool moves. In fact, he learns a lot of flying moves, too. He can learn Air Cutter. He can also learn moves like Spark, Nasty Plot, Dragon Pulse, Draco Meteor, and Thunderstorm. Prior to evolution, that's right, he's an evolutionary group. He can learn Brave Bird and Hurricane. And he also has access to Sky Attack, Wild Charge, Psychic, Hyper Voice, and Air Slash. Through breeding and through move tutor, oh jeez. Signal Beam and Bounce, Dragon Dance, Outrage, Draco Meteor, oh jeez. He just learned so much. There's his evolutionary forms from his Volt Chick to Volt Atsu to Yatagaryu. And of course there's actually a difference between male and females. If you look, the males have feathers coming right from behind underneath their eye. The females don't seem to have that. So that's actually pretty cool. They actually have a difference between male and females. And the shiny form really looks, it's just really well designed. Looks like an actual cloud. Like if you looked up, you'd see like in the evening, like the setting sun with the pink, you'd never be able to see it there. Yatagaryu is one of 2 Pokemon who experience a change in type and a loss of immunity to ground type after evolution, the other one being Codolith. And Yatagaryu is the only dual-type Pokemon that gains a weakness to ground type under normal circumstances after evolution. Those previous forms would still be weak to it under the effects of Smackdown or Gravity, because he loses his flying type to become an electric dragon. And Yatagarasu is based on the Japanese mythological creature Yatagarasu, a 3-legged crow. It seems to be based partially on Asian dragons, given its shape, typing, and power. Yeah, I guess he does only have 3 legs. I never even noticed that. And its name is a Potamantu of Yagarasu and Ryu, the Japanese word for dragon. Now, this is a beast that would give Rayquaza a run for its money as far as how much I like it. He definitely makes me believe that electric types are worth it. Well, actually, the past 3 have, but he's really worth it. You teach him Stormbringer and give him the mighty Shell Bell. You don't have to give him Shell Bell, though, because he has access to Roost. So you can actually trade the Shell Bell out for anything. I just like Shell Bell. Give him Charge Beam and Caustic Breath. Which, of course, you all know what my Caustic Breath is for types coverage. Dark Plot to boost his already extremely high special attack. And finish it off with Roost to give him healing. And, folks, with that, I'm finished with my electric types. I just really like the fact that when I go through these Fakemon lists and I look at the Pokemon that I'm looking at, I like the fact that they give so much more. Like, Pokemon never thought of a Pokemon like these. They never thought of Yatagaryu. They never thought of the Delta series of Pokemon. Yet, don't get me wrong, Aloha form is like the Delta form Pokemon, but I gotta be the one that says it. Pokemon Insurgents came before that. So you can't even throw that out there that they thought up the idea first. If anything, they might have stolen it from Insurgents. But folks, like I say all the time, please try out some of these games, download them, play them to your heart's content. I know some of them are short. Geez, what was it? I was just playing it recently. It was Pokemon. Let me just pop up my folder real quick while I have everyone here held at gunpoint, basically. It was Pokemon Spectrum. Now, unfortunately, Pokemon Spectrum's a really short one, but man, is it fun! If you guys get a chance, just go out and play these games. That's what I'm just saying. But that's my electric types. Next time, I'll bring on the pretty fairies. But until next time, folks, I'm KaijuK, and for the rest of the Modensters of Gaming, peace out, and we'll see you in the future. Goodbye, everybody.